Imagine getting up every day full of energy as if you were in your 20s again. What would that be like? What would it be worth to you? What is your health worth to you? Think about it. Your health isn't everything, but without it, everything else is nothing. And yet, too many of us are taking it for granted until something goes wrong. And no one wakes up hoping to be diagnosed with a disease or chronic illness. And yet, we've never been taught how to be proactive in our health through our school or public health. As a registered health coach and integrative health practitioner, I believe it's time this information is made available to everyone. Combining new knowledge around your health and the ability to do my functional medicine lab tests in the comfort of your own home will allow you to optimize your health for today and all your tomorrows. Don't wait for your wake-up call. Welcome back to the Don't Wait for Your Wake-Up Call podcast. My name is Melissa Deely, and I am the host of the show, and we are starting a whole new theme this month. And that theme is play, playfulness, the power of play. I love this quote from George Bernard Shaw. We don't stop playing because we get old. We get old because we stop playing. Think about that for a minute. When did you last simply play? I also want to introduce you to your unconscious mind, which is, it has the mind of a toddler. It loves to play. It talks to you in signs and symbols, little puzzles for you to figure out. It loves it when you get playful too. And this is when we open up to downloads and messages and guidance, et cetera, et cetera. And I recently had that experience myself. I recently did a very intensive training course in NLP to become an NLP coach, as well as in timeline therapy and hypnotherapy. And we were most definitely working with the unconscious mind throughout this process, which is incredibly powerful. And one of my ahas for the week really was to stop trying to make things hard, right? My messaging as a child had been that if you want to be successful, you have to work hard. And so I was working to release that limiting belief and surrender into the process that it can be easy. It gets to be easy. We don't have to overcomplicate things. And on one of the days we had a break, and it was a beautiful sunny day outside, and I decided to go out for a walk. And I walked up the hill behind my house, and I had my phone with me, and I decided to listen to some music, and I just turned to a playlist, my energy shifting playlist, and decided to just like randomly hit play and let it start on whatever song it wanted to start on, because I know I love all the music on this playlist. And the song Shut Up and Dance came on. Well, that just gets me moving. Most, upbeat music gets me moving. I really can't help but move when I hear this music. And I was all alone on the Valley Trail. I was crossing a bridge over a waterfall, and I just started dancing and twirling to the music because it was just giving me such joy on this beautiful bluebird sunny day. And just, this course was super intense. It was a fabulous course, but it was like 10, 12-hour days. And here I was outside because most of the rest of the week it had rained and I didn't even get a chance to go outside. So I'm now twirling and dancing down the Valley Trail, just in the moment, loving the music, surrendering to that idea of play and some of the conversations we'd had through the week. And I started skipping and thinking, I'm going to bring out that little 6 and 7-year-old girl in me. When was the last time I skipped? Probably not since my kids were about that age and I was holding their hands skipping. And I kind of opened my eyes for a minute and I saw there was a single person, a fellow walking up the trail the other way towards me. And my conscious mind went, oh, what will he think of you? Maybe you should stop and behave like an adult. And then the other side of me was like, no, I'm loving this. I'm feeling the joy. I'm in my body. I'm in the moment. And maybe, just maybe, he'll see my joy. Maybe that'll bring a smile to his face. Maybe that will bring him some pleasure. Or maybe he'll think I'm a crazy person. But I have no control over what someone else thinks of me. So I just decided I was going to keep on playing. So I skipped, I twirled, I danced. I really lived in the moment and enjoyed that playlist. And as I continued on this adventure, I did eventually at some point start walking, and just I was going up and down hills, etc. So I had, got a little bit of a workout in there, and then started walking, but walking at a pretty rapid pace and still kind of moving my arms to the music and really enjoying the music. And on my way back, I knew the last song in the playlist because it was a song that I had recently added that week, actually, called Rise Up. And after that song finished playing, I just thought the playlist would stop. But nope, music continued playing. And I really liked the next song, and I had no idea what it was. And so I thought that I'd take a look, see what this song is. And the name of the song was Surrender. And in that moment, I just felt overwhelming emotion, because it was that message that when I let myself out to play, I was getting a message back that, yes, I needed to surrender. And that was a really powerful message to me. And I continued on my way home. And the next song came on. And again, it was a really lovely song. And I had no idea what it was. And I looked at the name of the song. And this time it said, Got You, as in, got your back, you're supported. And it just made me think of the instructor of my course, the universe, and, the direction for me to surrender. But in surrendering, I am supported. So again, a lot of emotion welled up inside me, and sheer joy and pleasure, and the awareness of what can happen when we let ourselves out to play. So that was a really powerful experience for me, and it directed me into surrendering into the process of a mentorship program beyond the end of my course, so that I didn't have to figure out from scratch how to integrate all of my new training around the mental and emotional bodies, in addition to what I do with the physical body, and to actually have the instructor of the course, who's a naturopathic doctor, guide me in doing that, because she's already done it. And so surrender into that guidance. And the quickest way is to follow someone who's already done it and avoid their pitfalls, because you can learn from them. So that was my very recent experience of playing and laughing and getting those very strong messages. So when we play, we laugh. And you've heard me say before the healing benefits of laughter. 1 minute of laughter boosts your immune system for 24 hours, whereas 1 minute of stress, fear, anger weakens it for 4 hours. And stop and think for a moment. If you're at a school at recess time or lunchtime, and all the kids are out playing in the playground, what do you hear? What is the sound that comes to you? It's the sound of laughter, right? It's the sound of pure joy those kids are having, because they're playing, they're moving their bodies, they're running around, they're having an amazing time. And there is such a powerful connection between the mind and the body. And play is literally nature's therapy, and it's medicine for the whole body. But as adults, we often get too serious, and we get stuck at our desks worrying about finances, life, getting it all done, your presentation next week, your holiday to visit family next month. Just stop and imagine being a child again, your 6 or 7-year-old self. Close your eyes, as long as you're not driving, and think back to that time. Think back to how excited you were to go outside at recess and run around. You probably didn't even care if it was raining. You were with your friends playing, you were in the moment. You didn't have a care in the world other than the sheer joy of being able to run, skip, slide, hop, jump, climb, seesaw, hang upside down on the monkey bars. Do you remember that? And do you remember how that felt, the excitement to be free of the classroom, the sheer joy of moving through the wind and air in some way, feeling the wind on your face, blowing in your hair? Where did that person go? That person grew up and, per societal norms, stopped skipping, jumping, hanging upside down in middle school. It was no longer cool. But we still played organized sports through school and our community, and that continued through high school. So we were still having fun, moving our bodies, and then came university. Maybe some people played sports at the university level or the intramural level. And then came the real world, a job. Life got busy with our 40-hour plus work week and socializing. Maybe there was a community sport you played once or twice a week. Then you get married and have a family, and there's no longer time for that either. And if we don't protect our playtime, we find that it's suddenly gone because we're looking after everybody else first. Do you relate to that? As adults, it takes real conscious choice and planning to build in playtime into many of our lives. We commit to going to the gym to do a workout. But does that even sound fun? No, it has the word work in it. So for most people, that doesn't sound like fun at all. Maybe for some people, they love their gym workouts. And if that's you, kudos to you. That's awesome. But for the bulk of the population that isn't moving, the word workout doesn't inspire them to go to the gym, right? I totally get it. But with the best of intentions, we start, maybe it's our New Year's resolution that we make in January because everybody else is doing it. We know we should, but it doesn't last. Doesn't the word play sound so much more fun than the word workout? Just feel the difference in your body of the word play versus workout. And yet it doesn't seem to be accepted for adults to play. Yes, we can play a game or play a sport, but it always has to be organized. What if we could just walk outside our house and play just like we did as children? Moving your body has so many benefits, and it's not just for weight loss. The data is extensive, and it's shown that moving your body improves your mood, it's boosting your memory, it's reducing stress and anxiety, it's staving off a host of preventable diseases from heart disease, type 2 diabetes, obesities, and some types of cancer. These are the same chronic illnesses that I'm often talking about in relation to toxins and reducing your toxic load. But exercise is also important. You've heard me talk about detoxing, as I've said, also nutrition, sleep. I've covered off on all of these topics, but getting into this topic of exercise, movement, play is something new. And that's why I wanted to focus this month's episodes on this topic. And here's something I've always loved watching is dogs. They all know that word walk, to the point where many pet owners have to spell it out or come up with another word entirely, because as soon as their dog hears that word, they start to go nuts. They're jumping up and down, their tails wagging, they're trying to get their leash. They are excited because they know they get to go outside and walk and run and play. And they don't care what the weather is. They are just so excited to get out and move their bodies. And I've often wondered, why can't we humans be like that? Be like those dogs? They love it so much. And yet, for us humans, we've largely become a sedentary society. And often we don't get in enough movement because we think we don't have time. We're already busy, right? Raising our family, and we've got to get kids to school and get to work and drive kids to their sports events, et cetera, and get the groceries done and make dinner. And well, there's just not enough time in the day. But if we break it down into small increments, you can find time in your day, I promise you. So, what can you do to ensure you play every day? First off, choose something you love that is simply fun, not work. Make it so it's easy to do without needing big plans to make it happen. So, you want to have good ease of access. What ideas can you come up with? Honestly, think back when you were that 6 or 7-year-old child. What did you love to do then? Was it skipping rope? Was it just skipping? Was it hula hooping? These are all things that you can do in your backyard. You don't have to go anywhere. They don't cost any money. Well, okay, you can go to the dollar store and buy a skipping rope. It's probably $2, right? A hula hoop, same thing. So this is your homework for the week. And I really would love for you to tune back in next week as well to learn from play expert Janet Olmstead, who has written the Play book. And within that, she offers 150 ideas to start playing. And the 150 also refers to the number of minutes you should be engaged in moving in a week. 150 minutes in a week. So that's not much. It's just over 20 minutes a day at a minimum, right? You can break that down into 2 10 minutes or 4 5 minutes of doing something that moves you. During our caveman days, the men were walking 15 to 18 kilometers per day hunting. And now we've become so sedentary, sitting at a computer all day long. We barely walk that far at all. So, what are some of the things that you can do in 5-minute increments? Like I said, hula hoop, skipping rope, just running up and down the stairs in your house, going over if you've got a park nearby you, like I'm fortunate to have, you could go over and climb up and slide down and climb up and slide down, or get on the swing and pump your legs. And these are all things that we can absolutely do, but we also need to be shifting our mindset around it and saying, I want to have fun. It's okay for me to have fun. It's okay for me to, be joyous and to move. And it's okay for adults to still play, as opposed to thinking that playgrounds are just for kids and that you can't join in and have fun too. So, as I said, that's your homework for your week. Next week, I have Janet Olmstead here. And then the week after, I will be talking about all the ways that I love to play, because perhaps that will inspire you. And the week after that, I'm going to have Deb King on from the Wisdom Playground, and we're going to be talking about bringing play into the workplace as well, because we can absolutely do that. And before we end, I would just like to share a testimonial with you. This is something new that I'll be doing. My business coach suggested it, and it's a great idea because you're listening to my podcast. But if you don't really know what I do or how I help people, then you're not able to share my work with others and help your loved ones. And so, as an integrative health practitioner and registered health coach, I help people get to the root cause of their health issue. And once we understand that, where the body is out of balance, we can support the body in coming back into balance. We can remove what the body no longer needs in terms of toxicities or excesses, etc. And when the body's in balance, it will heal itself. So the testimonial that I would like to share today is a very recent one from somebody that I've only been working with since January of 2022. She has had chronic fatigue syndrome for over 40 years and really, really struggled with this and gone to many, many medical doctors looking for answers. And nothing has ever really worked. And when she was referred to me by a mutual friend, I suggested we run some lab tests to see where the imbalances are in her body. And the one that I was particularly interested in having her run was one that shows the mineral deficiencies and metal toxicities, because I suspected that there was probably some metal toxicities going on here. And she decided to run all her labs to get a baseline, which was a brilliant idea. And once we saw the results in her labs, we knew exactly what was going on. She had very high cadmium, very high nickel, very high copper in her labs. And she needed to do a heavy metal detox in order to get these toxins out of her body. She also had a little bit of bacterial overgrowth, and she had her mitochondria were showing that they were dysfunctioning and needed support, right? And our mitochondria are our energy powerhouses. So no surprise that for somebody with chronic fatigue syndrome, her mitochondria are struggling. And so we were able to start a heavy metal detox. We were able to support her mitochondria with some good supplements. And within 2 weeks of starting her protocol, I got this beautiful email from her thanking me for giving her 40 years of her life back, because she had just been able to spend the last 5 days sewing a beautiful new quilt for her and her husband's bed, as well as 4 pillowcases. And she'd worked 9 and 10-hour days on it and had the energy to do that. And she said, I haven't had the energy to do that in 40 years. I've needed naps to get through my days. And she said that she was sleeping again because we were addressing her diurnal rhythm and her cortisol levels, and that was helping her get to sleep at a normal time and get a solid 8 to 9 hours of sleep per night. So I love getting testimonials like this because it's just so fulfilling to me to be able to help someone in such a profound way. And it's really not that hard to do when we run the labs and we can see exactly what is going on inside the body and where the body is out of balance. So if you know anyone that is struggling with chronic fatigue syndrome or any kind of chronic illness that they're looking for answers for, feel free to send them to my website. They can go ahead and book a complimentary call so they can meet me. I can understand what their health goals are and if I'm the right person to be helping them. So thank you again for tuning in to the Don't Wait for Your Wake Up Call podcast. Have a wonderful week ahead, and I look forward to having you join us next week to further the discussion on play. If you're enjoying my content and someone that wants to step into being proactive in your health and learning more, I would love to invite you to join my membership community. There's a link in the show notes. For only $19.99 a month, you get access to all of my content, and there's a lot, as well as weekly calls that you can come and get your health questions answered. It's truly priceless. I'd love to see you join the community. Check out the link in the show notes.